Welcome to the Holborn Assets channel. In this series, we look at major events in the history of economics that helped to shape the world we live in today. If you think of an event we missed, or there's some topic on money and finance you'd like us to discuss, just leave a comment and it'll help us make videos you want to see. On the 12th of March 2009, Bernard Madoff, chairman of the Wall Street firm Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities LLC, pleaded guilty to one of the biggest financial fraud schemes of all time. Madoff was a well-established firm on Wall Street, and ironically was seen as one of the most reliable places to put your money, rather than a flashy get-rich-quick scheme that you might expect. Madoff operated what's known as a Ponzi scheme. It's named after Charles Ponzi, who operated the first major case in the 1920s, although the idea already existed. Charles Dickens had even written about it in his 1844 novel Martin Chuzzlewit. The basic idea is to offer investors a high return. In order to pay the return, you attract new investors and use this new money to pay the previous ones. You have to keep acquiring more and more investors to keep the scheme alive. Madoff was offering a steady 10% return, which was high enough to be appealing, but low enough to not seem too suspicious. He also made it very difficult for people to invest, giving his company a feel of exclusivity. When the 2007 financial crisis came, the wheels fell off the system, and it was revealed he had defrauded an estimated $64.8 billion. He was sentenced to 150 years in prison. The first Coke bottle went on sale on the 12th of March 1894, and in the following 120 years or so, it went on to be maybe the most powerful brand on earth. The statistics around the company are mind-blowing. Let's just cherry-pick a few. Coca-Cola owns 20 separate billion-dollar brands, from Coke to Diet Coke to Coke Zero, Schweppes, Fanta, Fuse Tea, and on and on. Coca-Cola sells 1.9 billion servings every day. That's almost a third of the planet. And finally, its revenue has now increased every year for over 50 years. The drink was originally created by John Pemberton, who became addicted to morphine after his injuries in the American Civil War. It started out as a wine mixed with cocaine, but soon the wine was prohibited and the cocaine was outlawed, so it became the drink we know today. For many years, the Coca-Cola company sold just the syrup. Pharmacies would use this for their soda fountains and were the first place to sell bottles. Bottling rights were sold for just $1 to Benjamin F. Thomas and Joseph B. Whitehead, and the contract set the bottle retail price at 5 cents, without a time limit. So, Coke was only ever 5 cents from 1886 to 1959. In two different mergers at the end of the 80s, Coke finally took control of bottling. In the 1920s and 30s, there were a series of strikes by Mexican oil workers, demanding sick pay and a 40-hour week, among other things. President Lázaro Cárdenas, elected in 1934, supported the strikes since he felt the Mexican workers were being exploited by foreign companies. Eventually, after a series of legal battles, Mexico nationalized all oil extraction in the country on the 18th of March 1938, and just a few months later founded Pemex, the state oil company. At first, Mexico was hit by a backlash from the US and UK oil firms, but this was not backed by their respective governments. In the end, the oil needs of World War II meant that Pemex had a market in the US by 1940. They went on to become the second largest non-publicly listed company in the world, behind Aramco, the Saudi state oil company. Its position has dropped in recent years though, due to lack of investment in new technology and no major new reserves being found. So, that was the week. We're sure there were plenty of other important things going on, but we don't want to get too carried away. Don't forget to subscribe to Holborn Assets, not just to learn more about the history of economics, but for plenty of videos on how to make simple investments, start saving, and just generally take control of your finances.